Welcome to this lesson on comparing integers. Please be sure you have these notes in front of you so that we can begin this lesson. This lesson has two I can statements. The first I can statement says I can compare two integers, and the second I can statement says I can interpret statements of inequalities using a number line. So let's look on the left-hand side of our notes and discuss some of the vocabulary words. The first vocabulary word is called equal sign. And an equal sign shows that two statements are equal. So I can say one statement would be 4, and another statement could be 2 plus 2. I could put an equal sign between them and call that two equal statements. 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. Another equal statement I could say is 2 times 3 is equal to 3 times 2. That's a statement of equality because both sides are equal to 6. The next vocabulary word is called inequality. An inequality shows that two statements are not equal. So our first example of an inequality would be is less than. Is less than would be this symbol right here. So an example of using less than would give me two statements that look like this, 2 and 7. Those are two statements. 2 is a statement, 7 is a statement. I can say that they're not equal, so I'm not going to place an equal sign in between. What I want to do is I want to place the less than statement, because 2 is less than 7. The next vocabulary word is greater than. And the symbol looks like this. So the way that we would use this, I could have a statement that says 7 and another statement that says 2. We know that 7 and 2 are not equal, so we're not going to place an equal sign in between. But I know that 7 is greater than 2. So that shows a statement of inequality. The two statements are not equal. And then finally, the word magnitude. We talked about this in a previous lesson. It's the distance a number is away from 0. So whenever you hear the word magnitude, I want you to think about an earthquake. This is how scientists use to measure how large an earthquake is. So let's keep that in mind when we talk about magnitude. So now let's go ahead and move on to our key concepts on the right-hand side of our notes. The first key concept says we're going to compare integers using signs. So anytime that you have a positive number, please know that a positive number is always greater than a negative number. Or you can think of a negative number being less than a positive number. So all positive numbers are larger than negative numbers. So if I look at my number line and I start from 0, I know that any number to the right of 0 is larger than any number to the left of 0. Anything to the right is positive, anything to the left is negative. The second key concept says let's compare integers using magnitude. We already know that if we start at 0, anything to the right of 0, as I continue to move to the right, the numbers get larger. So the numbers on the right hand side of 0 get larger as I move away from 0. However, if I move to the left of 0, the numbers continue to get smaller. So we know that the number farthest to the right is always greater. We also know that the numbers farthest to the left is always smaller. So we're going to use these key concepts to solve the following examples. So let's begin example 2. It says fill in the blank with less than, greater than, or equal to make this true statement. They're giving me two integers. The first integer is positive 12 and the second integer is negative 4. And I know from the key concepts that any positive number is bigger than any negative number. So using my number line, I know that if I start at 0 and I go to the right, my numbers are getting larger. So the farther right I go, the larger my numbers. If I start at 0 and I go to the left, my numbers start to get smaller. So I'm going to take a look at positive 12. Positive 12 is on the right hand side of 0, so I'm going to place it right here on the number line. And then I'm going to look at negative 4. Well, negative 4 is on the left hand side of 0 because it's a negative number. So I know that positive 12 is larger than negative 4 because it's in the positive region. So I'm going to write my inequality like this. Positive 12 is greater than negative 4. This inequality shows that two statements are not equal. I can also write it like this. Negative 4 is less than positive 12. Both answers are the same. So example 3 says they want me to compare two statements. The first statement is negative 12 and the second statement is negative 4. And they want me to compare it using a less than symbol or a greater than symbol or an equal to symbol to see which one makes this statement true. So I'm going to go ahead and graph both integers on a number line. The first integer, we're going to start at 0, and I know that they're both negative, so they're going to go to the left of 0. The first integer I have is negative 4, so I'm going to place negative 4 right here on the left hand side of 0. And the second integer I have would be negative 12, which would probably be around here. Negative 12, and place my dot around there. If I remember back from key concepts, if I start from 0 and I run farther to the left, the numbers continue to get smaller into the negative region. So I know that the farther away my number is from 0, the smaller it is. So let's take a look at magnitude. The magnitude from 0 to negative 4 says that I moved a total of 4 spaces. Now let's take a look at the magnitude from 0 to negative 12. This told me that I moved a magnitude of 12 spaces. So if I look at the magnitude, I know that I moved more spaces going to the negative 12, which means that has to be the smaller number because it's farther away from 0. So I'm going to write my inequality like this. Negative 12 is less than negative 4. This inequality shows that two statements are not equal, and this is a true statement. I can also write it like this. Negative 4 is greater than negative 12. This is also a true statement. So pause the video, complete these got it problems, and then play it back for some feedback. Okay, so example 5 is another word problem, and it says Haley owes her parents less than, I'm going to circle the word less than because that's another important keyword, negative $4,500 for a new car. Which does this represent? So I've got two options. It could either represent a debt greater than $4,500, or it can represent a debt less than $4,500. So let's talk about it on a number line. Here's 0. And Haley's bank account says that she is in the negative at negative $4,500 because she bought a new car. So if Haley wanted to get out of debt, she would have to pay back $4,500 just to be at 0. However, the problem told me that she owes her parents less than negative $4,500. So I want you to take note at the direction of the arrow. The arrow is pointing to the left, which means on my number line, if I wanted to graph the less than symbol on my number line, I would start at negative $4,500, and because my inequality says less than, my arrows need to point in the same direction of less than, which is to the left. What that means is that Haley owes her parents somewhere to the left of negative $4,500. So the amount that Haley owes could be right here because it's on the left hand side of negative $4,500, and that number could be negative $4,600. It could also be here, which may be $4,700, and so on. It could be any number on the left-hand side of negative $4,500. So if she wanted to pay her parents back, and she was at negative $4,600, she would have to pay her parents back more than $4,500 just to get back to zero, because the magnitude is larger than $4,500. If, for example, she owed her parents negative $4,700 and she wanted to pay them back, she would have to pay them back more than $4,500 because the magnitude is greater than $4,500. Therefore, she has a debt greater than $4,500. And the reason why is because she owes a magnitude larger than $4,500. So pause the video, complete the problem, and then play it back for some feedback. So now that you finished this lesson, go ahead and self-assess yourself and let us know how you feel about it. If you have any questions about it, go back and watch the video again. You can also write down some questions and bring it to class tomorrow so that we can discuss it.